running issue, and others are in a better position to speak. What I noted was, yet again, Councillor Tribe puts up an almost cost-free, sensible alternative, while SIG just wants to throw up their hands and not speak for the community. The paper approval that CLARC has seems to be used by Patricia White as a semi-threat. If we do not throw in the towel, they could reactivate that development and not donate it to the national park. I am looking forward from comments to this video from the people that have been involved in this fight for many years.
The two planning proposals matters at Clr Bay. I'm moving an alternative recommendation to what the staff are proposing to move on this. So the alternative recommendation that I'm moving is that Council received the New South Wales Planning Minister's letter declining to rezone the Halloran Trust urban release area at Clr Bay to environmental conservation and for information, and not to initiate a planning proposal. That is the first one. The second part is not submit a written submission to the planning proposal for Lot 5 DP 1225356 CLARC Road, Clr Bay. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconded by Councillor Clancy. Now, I will speak to this. This is very confusing, and unless you've followed this over the years, it is very confusing. As Mr. Philpott advised us, these are two different companies. I have questioned why this is in the one report and why two reports didn't come up to Council, because it is confusing about what you're voting for. I had confusion, as I spoke earlier, saying that who did I get to do deputation? All right, and I'll speak to them separately. In relation to the Halloran Trust land, the Minister has made it quite clear to Council that they will not rezone that conservation, and they are proceeding with that planning proposal which they approved, not Council. And they've, as Mr. Philpott pointed out, they have still got a lot of environmental issues, planning issues that they have to sort out before this goes ahead. In my opinion, by putting in a planning proposal, and the Council staff are recommending that we don't put a planning proposal in, we are only taking up time, resources and funding of Council, because if we put a planning proposal in, we have to pay for that. We have to pay for the studies that would be required, etc. This will go, and from the ministers and speaking to the department, when this matter was raised last year, they're not going to approve a planning proposal. It's gone through the proper process. In relation to the CLARC Road proposal, I voted against that in this Council a few years ago when the planning proposal came up. That went to the JRPP. The JRPP approved it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Clerk. The JRPP approved it and took away our powers to assess any further on that DA. The only thing that we would be doing is writing a submission to the JRPP like every other man in the street. It is not, it's just coming as a submission from Council. It will carry the same weight as Mr. Smith down the road to lodge a thing. Again, it will take the time up. The JRPP has assessed this. They are doing all of the further planning, assessment, the whole lot on this. So I believe that our boat sailed last year when we tried to one, stop it, and two, and with the Halloran Run, that they came back and said no, we're not doing it. I will point out when the JRPP assessed the CLARC Road proposal, they would have had all of the reasons why Council, and again, Mr. Clark, correct me, would have had all of the reasons from Council as to why we rejected the planning proposal in the first place. So I'm moving that, and it's been seconded, so open for debate. Councillor Tribe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I tend to hope for the best but prepare for the worst. So while I hear what you're saying, I feel as though we can't not give it a go. I'm not suggesting we go ahead with the PP, but I've sent an alternate motion that I'd like to foreshadow and I've sent that to staff. If we could put it up, please. While we're waiting for that to come up, I'll talk about it. It was the staff's recommendation, but with a couple of minor changes. So in part 1, it's council request an urgent meeting with the Department of Planning to discuss the requirements and likely outcome of a possible council-led rezoning.
So can I just interrupt you there? Sorry. So Councillor Wilkins and Councillor Kazmiri, I would suggest that you leave the room because this is a matter that's going to go to the JRPP. Yep. So I'll just explain for those why I'm asking them to leave the room is because they will assess this on council's behalf. Yes, CEO.
Thank you. Mayor, councillors, so you may recall that early in the council term, as part of council's involvement in the joint regional planning panel, or the Southern Regional Planning Panel as it's now known, council had the opportunity to nominate either no sitting council members or 2 particular councillors to attend and represent on behalf of council. In putting forward those representations, Deputy Mayor Wilkins and Councillor Kazmiri are council's representatives on the Southern Regional Planning Panel. Therefore, in fulfilling their role as voting members on the panel, they should not be involved in any debate or determination of items that will escalate to the JRPP. That should be left to the remaining elected body to put representations forward on behalf of the council, independent of the 2 nominated.
With the foreshadowed motion,
yes,
Madam Mayor.
Sorry about that.
So it should be up. If we just scroll down, please. Thank you, Ms. McMahon. So there's 2 changes there. It's 1 to part 1. The second sentence of that is, as I said, council request an urgent meeting with the Department of Planning to discuss the requirements that they mention in their letter and the likely outcome of a possible council-led rezoning. And the purpose of that is I've read this letter numerous times and I think it is quite vague and I would appreciate an open and frank conversation with the department to say, does it have a chance and what are the things that you're referring to in terms of the strategic and site-specific merit that we'd need to demonstrate? It's just asking the conversation. It's not suggesting, it's not signing us up to a PP. I understand the cost and time associated with that. It's a follow-up question. It's a follow-up call, basically. And then the second component is adding part 5. So I think part 4 is really important. I don't agree with us not making a submission. I think the community expects us to have a say. And the part 5 is just that we request the New South Wales government to give the appropriate consideration to submissions made by the community when this matter is exhibited, including reference to any community-led strategic plan that they are developing, because as we've heard from the deputations, the community feel as though they haven't had a voice, and this is just adding that in. So I would really seek council's support to ask these follow-up questions and to give the appropriate consideration to the community's concerns.
So, Councillor Johnston.
Thank you. I would actually like. Can I talk? That's a foreshadowed emotion.
No, you can't talk to that.
To that one yet? I have to talk to that one. Okay. So this will probably lead on to that anyway. I think, particularly given the deputations and the fact, yes, there was consultation, but not in the state that it's actually currently in. And I do appreciate the weight that the state government has and what they've provided, but I do feel like they haven't provided us with very clear and definite grounds of why they went for it, and did they pay attention to the community consultation and what was done, particularly with the deputation by Miss Barrell. We are in this room, realistically, or those around the table, the past generation. We must accept that the legacy we leave is for the new generation, what's coming through. Maybe except for Matt, he's kind of in the middle. Oh, and Carly, sorry. Oh, I don't know about you. But really, when we look to the future, Ms Barrell's deputation demonstrated the desire of the youth to develop appropriately, to infill, and what we've already voted for in this area is potentially some more up, not out, since you're all very much in favour of. I think it is a desire of the youth and the area that we're in to have the Shoalhaven the way it is now, to have development that is appropriate in the right place, where the services are and where it needs to be. So I think we need to consider that. So I will be voting against the Mayor's submission to go for this and potentially go again. Thank you.
So any other speakers for or against the recommendation? So I'll just take a right of reply. I know that there's relatively a lot of new councillors here and haven't been through the journey on both of these sites. As I said, I was disappointed that it wasn't 2 reports to council, and it was confusing to understand, thinking that they're the same company because they've got the same name. There's been a lot of time and a lot of effort, and you can go back and read the old reports and you can go back and look at it. We've got a lot of work to do as a council. We've got to do the LEP, we've got to do the contributions plans. We have got a lot of work to do as a council. Yes, we can spend time writing submissions that they actually took our powers away from us, the JRPP. They took our powers of assessing these DAs and this planning proposal away from us because of what was put up by the company after we refused it. The New South Wales Planning, as we heard from Matt, they took away our powers after they had dragged on for so long. I'm quite sure that when the New South Wales Planning and the JRPP approved to move these 2 projects forward, that they would have considered all of both of them, taken into account all of the the consultation that was supplied to them, all of the information that was supplied from them, from the council and others, and they made the decisions. Just because we don't like the decisions they make doesn't mean that we can have to spend time and time and time again, because this has been going on, as Matt Philpott told us, from the early 2000s. We don't like the decision, so we just keep going back. We need to accept that decisions have been made and that we need to move forward. I think it is a good outcome, and as I said, I don't support the Sealark Road proposal, but in relation to the Hallorans, all of that land that's going to be donated to national parks may never have to be donated to national parks unless it's part of this approval. Previous council discussions on the floor of this council, that land that Halloran own that they are going to hand over to national parks, that's a paper subdivision already that was created back in the 60s. So they could act on that paper subdivision if they want. That has been a discussion in this council, and I believe it's better to hand that land over to national parks so that secures that land. So I recommend that councils vote that the recommendation that I've put up. So with that, I will put up, you can vote on your screen.
And Councillor Kemp.
Councillor Kemp? Yes, so that's yes.
So 6-4-5 against.
6-4-5 against. Those who voted against are Tribe, Norris, Boyd, Johnston and Christolitis. All right, so it's carried.